Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Marin, and I want to teach you guys today on how to become a podcast booker. So this is somebody that is either working with podcast hosts, trying to find them guests, and working with guests, trying to find them good shows to be on. And this is a very unique job, and I've seen a couple people attempt to do it. And being that I've been on probably about 100 to 150 podcasts as a guest, as well as doing about 130 podcasts on my own, and soon to be doing even more on my show, I've learned quite a few things and things that people look out for. So if this is something that you're interested in, either being a guest or being a booker or being a host, and you want to work with one of these people, here's some things to look out for. Number one, right off the bat, there should be some level of intake form. Now, I don't know what that intake form would look like, but it should be some questions. When people come to my agency, Growth Generators, we do an onboarding. So we ask them who their ideal client is, who they want to work with, where they're at currently, why are they leaving their existing marketing company, what are they looking for as far as results go, what marketing materials do they have a branding guide? All of these different little questions that come to mind are questions that I have to ask, right, to that ideal client. Same thing goes for a podcast booker, right? You want to know everything there is to know about a podcast host and a podcast guest, right? Some podcast guests might not be a good fit for some shows, and some podcast hosts might not be a good fit for some guests, depending on where they're at in the journey and who they're looking to interview. So right off the bat, I would recommend doing an onboarding. Doesn't matter what the onboarding is, but it should be somewhere between 25 and 30 questions, up to about 50, 60 questions, getting really personal, because you are going to be judged on your success with how you match people and how they enjoy the podcast. The better that you can see both sides of it, so a host, looking for this kind of guest, interested in this, talking about these topics, and a guest interested in about all these different variables, is going to make your life a million times easier. So right off the bat, I would offer some kind of onboarding and putting that into a database. The second thing I would do if I was going to be a podcast booker, and the only reason why I'm making this once again is because I've just gotten questions and I've been on both sides of it, and I really want to help as many people as I can. So the second thing is send emails. I have not gotten an email from certain people that I should have gotten an email from saying, hey, by the way, I have these potential guests, right? Here's a little bio, right? Here is this. Here's the information for this. Is this somebody that you'd be interested in having on the podcast, right? Then as a podcast host, they can say, yeah, this person fits my profile, or no, this person doesn't fit my profile. This is going to make both your job and the host job and even the guest's job much easier, because they're going to be able to see, hey, you know what, this is their bio. Maybe as a podcast host, you're writing the bio in a way that podcast hosts would want, or better yet, as a podcast booker, how the podcast host would want it. This is going to make you infinitely more successful. Instead of having a cookie cutter, hey, this is what they've been using for 5 years, you take the time out and do the work, right? You can charge for all of these things, but do the work that a podcast host would really want to see. What are they interested in? Do they have a family? Do they have kids? Are they a business owner? How much money are they doing in sales? All of these variables are going to make you a better podcast booker, because hosts really want to see that. Is it really their ideal person to have on the show that's going to add value to their audience? That is a huge step in this process, is making sure that the audience gets value. And as a host, right, me being one, you have to do a lot of due diligence. A podcast booker makes that easier. So number two is absolutely start to pair the right people and communicate saying, hey, I have these people. And number three, what I constantly see is there's no actual solution to any of this. A lot of times they're run on Excel sheets. Go to HubSpot. It is free. Now, there's better versions of HubSpot for paid, but HubSpot is totally free. HubSpot with Zapier, with ActiveCampaign, which should be like $9 a month, will give you a almost free option to be able to send emails saying, hey, I have these people coming in. Is anybody looking for a podcast guest? And then afterwards, as a booker, now you can start to begin to build different products and solutions. Something that I'm going to be rolling out is how to be a great podcast guest. I've been a podcast guest on about 150 shows, 100 to 150. I am an expert podcast guest. I'm an expert in my field. I am very confident in front of the camera, right? I haven't done a video in a very long time, and I'm diving right into this. And what equipment do you need? How do you need it? How do you need to sound? How to make your audio sound better? Get rules of engagement for a podcast guest, of making sure that there's, no window open, or there's not going to be loud traffic outside, making sure your door's closed, making sure you have something to drink while you're doing your podcast. These are all things that most people who have been a guest know, but if you've never been a guest before, you're still kind of new to it. you might not think of it. Having water nearby is crucial. The amount of times I cut videos because I need to take a sip of water is infinitely long, but I know that I need to make sure that I drink water, otherwise I'll lose my voice. So all of these different things now come into play. So teaching guests, hey, how to be a better guest, things, proper guest etiquette, proper host etiquette. And then you can even take it a step further and start offering upsells. And this is where a lot of people don't take the opportunity to make the money, right? I don't know how much you plan on charging, but you could probably get between $75 and $150 for each guest you put on a podcast. And you might even make some money from the host paying you to get a certain guest. Number one. Number two, you could charge for that onboarding. $50, $100, $150, right? You crunch down that bio, you do a little bit of work, you use the new Chat GPT that everyone's talking about. That's number two. After you've done all of that and you book the podcasts, start to think about ways that you can upsell. An easy one that comes to mind right off the bat is going to be start making social media content for the guest and the host. Hey, by the way, for $250, $300, $400, whatever that number is for you, right? Whatever you can comfortably afford or hire employees to do the work. Now you can go out and start to find out, hey, I can get you on a podcast. I can give you 10 social media pieces. I'll even curate maybe 2 or 3 emails for you to send out during this time to help link back to the podcast and get more engagement there. And I'm going to post all these pieces of social media for you. So it's a totally done for you hands-off experience. And people love to pay for convenience. I know this because I just saw the most ridiculous thing on TikTok of a machine that you just put food in. And it's literally like combining 4 or 5 things in your kitchen. It's got like a scale, a blender. It might even cook it for you. It's ridiculous. You do not need it. Everything in your house is more than suitable for it. But people will pay for convenience. They want an oven that'll turn on with a smartphone, right? People are willing to pay for it. So think about different ways that you can make it more convenient for somebody to be on a podcast, make it more interesting to them and more appealing to them. And by doing a done for you solution, maybe it's a couple $100 extra. Now you took a client that might have cost $50 to $75 to $300 or $400. Now you don't have to force it on them, but give them the option. And now it makes you sound like a professional. Hey, by the way, would you be interested in us posting 10 times on social media? It's X amount of money. We do it for a bunch of clients. If you're interested, let me know. I can give you a small discount if you buy beforehand, but if you do it afterwards, I can't give you that discount. These are all different ways that you can generate money as a podcast booker and turn this into a profession. How much money do you need? Do you need $2,000 a month? Do you need $5,000 a month? If you could try to get from a $75 or $100 client to a $500 client for each show that they're on, there are people out there that would happily pay that money for the convenience, the ease of use, getting on those shows that they really want to. Now you can make, if you want $4,000 a month, all you got to do is 8 people, right? And you put the team in place, you might make a little less than that, but you put the team in place and now it's not that hard. So these are all different things that you have to think about and start getting creative. Put that system in process to then drive business, drive sales, and make money and build a brand that you are proud of, one that has a full database, somebody that you can send emails to, clients, client hosts and guests that you can interact with on a regular basis. And it makes your life easier by having that onboarding, that intake form that they can go through, and it'll allow you to match them exactly with who they want to meet. So I hope this video helps. This is a bit of a shorter video. My name is Harrison Barron. I appreciate you following along. If you want to jump on my newsletter, the link is down below. I am going to constantly be doing that now, and I'm actually going to be putting together in the next couple weeks a little masterclass of how to be a guest, how to be a host, and how to make an incredible podcast. So look out for that. It will be totally free, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Till then, bye.